Hello guys, welcome back to this IQ option automation series P1. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get digital option underlying list. And by underlying list, I mean these assets available to trade within digital option instrument. Okay, so what you see here is like so many assets, right? And you can also see their text representation or name like USD JPY, OTC, Euro JPY. So this is text representation, and this is for us human to easily understand, okay, this thing is this. But behind the scene, they are assigned unique ID or unique assist ID, and without this assist id or id we cannot do any operation like getting candlestick data or most importantly placing automated trade. The ultimate goal of this automation is to place automated trade, and we must pass these assist or underlying lists, okay, individual items, uh, 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 id along with other payload in order to do one of these operation. Okay, so now let me show you how to get this. Okay, first I will take you to IQ option web. Okay, right click, do inspect, and then go to network tab. Okay, and then here you have a lot of options. Go to WebSocket and you should see something like this, and if you don't see it, refresh the page, reload the page, and wait for some time to the this WebSocket up here. Okay, now from here what you can do is you can type digital option dot instrument. Okay, and let's say we are going to send it. Now here you can see this this is the payload that we need to send, okay, in order to get all of this assist information. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. Okay, you can go to ChatGPT or DeepSeek and ask it like make it nice payload. So this ChatGPT or OpenAI thing are very handy for us developer. Okay, uh, so let's see what this give us. Okay, so it's even writing function for us. Okay, but I'm not going to get that. From this what I'm going to get is this message section. Okay, this message contains this. Okay, body, inside body there is something called this and this and this. Okay, so from there I'm going to copy this message only. We don't need name, request id, and local time. Okay, we need it, but we are using it another way. Okay, already using it, so we don't have to worry about that. Just try to get this message dictionary. Okay, so this ends here, get this message. Now let's write a function to get the underlying list. You can give it any name. I'm going to give it a informative name like get digital underlying list. Okay, the first parameter gonna be self because it's part of class. Okay, now paste that message dictionary that you just copied from ChatGPT or other OpenAI thing. Okay, so this needs to be a variable. Now remove this quotation from message. Okay, and assign it like this. Okay, so here filter suspended. Why this is coming this way? Let's go to inspect. This needs to be true, not that way. Okay, so now let's set to true. So this is true in Python. In other cases true is a small case, right? Just know this. So we're going to do this one, and the name we also need to include the name. Here you can see name, right? Okay, so the name is send message. copy this one. Request ID and other thing are not important. That will be dynamically made. Okay, okay, now we can send this to WebSocket. We already have sent WebSocket request function, right? Now let's pass this name and the message. Okay, right, we are good to go. Let's do time dot sleep. Okay, we'll remove this later on, but for now, just to make sure that we give enough time WebSocket to get the message, and go all the way up to the on message function and make sure this print is enabled, sorry, uncommented. Now I will maximize it. Okay, after logging in, what you can do is call for this new function, get digital underlying list. No need to pass any argument. Now you can run it. Let's see what response we get. This is not the error, just console uh, PowerShell error, something like that. Okay, here you can see so many data, right, we are getting. Okay, so our this payload was valid, that's why we got all this data, and these are underlying list, and you can see the data is bit difficult to read, right? Okay, so the data is bit difficult to read. Okay, so how can we, okay, we need like starting uh message starting thing. So how can we get this? It's making a bit difficult. Okay, just a moment, just a moment. Okay, so instead of running from here, I'm going to use this git bash, right? And our function name is main.py, so I'm going to run like git, not git, sorry, python main.py. Here we'll be able to read all the messages, I guess, than in PS Code WebSocket. Okay, good. Scroll slowly up. So much data, right? And it's really difficult to read. Keep scrolling. Okay, so this is how the message starts, right? And the name is underlying list. Okay, here you can see request ID is none, name is underlying list, and then there is a message, and this message is dictionary, and this dictionary contains all the data inside it, and inside that there is something called type digital option group, and we need to get this underlying. Okay, so from this message, this underlying list message, we need to access message. Okay, and then we need to access this underlying a dictionary. So how we are going to do that is, now I'm going back to this on message function. I'm going to comment this. Okay, and here what can be done is, let's write another if else statement. Okay, and if name is this underlying list, get me that message. Okay, so change this to underline. Okay, and let's store this in something called, let's say, self. Okay, first let's make a class attribute. I'm gonna name it like digital underlying list. Okay, I'm going to set this empty because on initialization it's always empty, right? And here now we can assign this message, we can filter this message and store that to the attribute that we just defined, and that's attribute name is get on, not the get underlying digital underlying list. Okay, so like I said, okay, so message is the full message given by WebSocket, right? And from this we need to, okay, so this is the whole message. Okay, so from this message we need to get message msg, okay, msg, and from this message get me this underlying, copy and paste it here. Okay, so we are good to go. Now let's scroll down to the function that we just defined. Now instead of time.sleep, what can we do is, while that message does not arrive, we wait, and as soon as that message arrives we will exit. Okay, so while self dot digital underlying list equal none, we have set this to none, right, on initialization. Okay, when this is none, keep waiting. Okay, and I'm going to time dot sleep on point one, just to make sure that this loop does not consume too much resources, my CPU resources. Okay, so as soon as that data arrives it exits, and now what can we do is, let's say, let's see how many, what's the length of that underlying list. Okay, good to go. Now we can run from here. If you like to do, you can also run from here. Most of the time, like almost all the time, I use git bash because git bash has added benefit and easier to read as well, right? So you can see there are 173 assists. Okay, so now let's see how the assists are like stored. Okay, we can do loop here for list in, and this list is reserved keyword in Python. So instead of list, let's say item. Okay, let's not use reserved keyword. Okay, so I'm going to print one item just to know how the data is coming, right? And after that I'm going to break. I don't want to print all 173 data. Okay, now let's run the script again. Okay, so this is one one underlying list item. Okay, so and this is how it's stored. So it has something called active ID, right? And it has other thing underlying euro USD OTC, and schedule means opening and closing time. You might have noticed sometimes this pair is available to trade, sometimes it's not, because they are scheduled like this, opening and closing time, and you can see so many opening and closing time, right? And other thing, enable true name euro USD OTC localization and other thing. And out of these things that we we need for the purpose of this video is this active ID. This is must. Without this we cannot do any operation, like I mentioned earlier in the video, right? And we need this and also its name. Okay, so that we can know like this key belongs to which currency pair. Okay, so from here how can we, like what we need to access is, we need to access from, okay, so we need to access, let's say, active ID, and that's gonna be item. From item, so this is one item and that has that contains this key. Okay, I'll manually type it, active ID, and copy paste. Okay, and then the name, and the name is stored in name key, name, right? Now instead of printing like whole item, so what we are going to do is Okay, so assist id is active id, and then another comma, name equal name. Perfect. Now let's run the script again. We should get much better console print this time. Perfect. Assist ID is 76 and name is Euro USD OTC. Now let's print all the items. Okay, I'm going to remove this break statement. So what break does is, like, what it was doing is, as soon as it got the first item, it did the operation above it and it broke out of the loop. That's why other items were not printing. Now I'm removing that, and because I want to print all the item, I want to loop all the item in this list. Okay, let's run the script again. Perfect. You see, so all of these has something called active id, and this active id or assist id is something that we are going to use very often later on. Okay, when we are doing, like, especially when we are trading, getting candlestick specific data or information, we need this one. Without this we cannot do anything. We cannot pass name like this. System does not understand it. Okay, all right. So now we are able to get all these items, and these items and their id, like this USD OTC and its id, they are pretty constant. They don't change very often. So what we can do is we can store this in another file called, let's say, digital underlying list or underlying list dot py. Okay, and use it later on instead of making API call, because what we are going to get from API is going to be same as this. These are quite static, does not change very often. Now let's try to save this. So how can we save this to a file? So now we are going to do something called file handling or file writing. Okay, so this was for the purpose of printing, console printing. Now I'm going to comment this one. Now let's do file handling, or let's write this thing in a file. Okay, so with open, this does is opening and closing a file, and we can do operation inside it. Okay, so this is kind of context manager. Let's store this in a underlying list. And one thing to know is that this underlying list, this id that we just printed, it is quite same, like it is same across all instruments like forex, crypto, crypto, digital option, binary option. The id for them is same. Okay, just the thing is, sometimes, like, one particular asset is available to trade in one instrument, but not in other instrument, and things like that. But their id is same across all the instrument. Okay, by instrument I mean forex, cfds, cryptos, digital option, binary option, and we have now new thing called blitz, right? So these things are called instrument. Now let's store this in a file called underlying list dot py. Okay, py gonna be, so this gonna be Python module, right? We want to write it as, let's say, file. Okay, this is the standard way, okay, of doing, like, writing file. So first thing I want to write is, let's say, um, this has means it comments that particular line. Okay, let's say I'm going to say my auto Okay, and then move to next line backslash n, right? So okay, let me show you what this does. Okay, comment this line for now. Okay, get this down here, run this script. You should get something like underline list. This should call. Okay, here you get the underlying list dot py, and you can see my auto generated underlying list and it's commented. Okay, and this is on intent, like this is intentionally done, right? Just for kind of information or for kind of comments. Okay, so we are able to save file underlying list. Next thing what we need to do is, now I want to store this, like I want to store, I want to assign this to a variable. So what I'm going to do is, let's write variable name, and we can give it any name. You can give any name of your choice, right? So usually how we assign a value, let's say variable name like name, and then we assign dictionary this way, right? So that's what we are going to do. So I want to say underlying list. Okay, and this is how this should needs to be. Okay, all right, so the next thing gonna be, now we need to loop through these underlying list items. Okay, okay, no, we need to loop through. Okay, so the underlying list contains all those 173 list items, and this item gonna be one item from that list. Okay, and that item contains this thing, right? These things and other so many things. We don't need that for now. We need active id and name. Okay, so how can we store this? File dot write. How can I do this? Let's do formatting tabs, and then this way will be fine. Okay, we need to, yeah, you need to make placeholder. Okay, so placeholder gonna contain item, and from that item, so I want to going to set key, name as key. Okay, and id as value. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, now, okay, this is getting us error because of this single quotation. Now I'm going to use double quotation uh, outside and single quotation inside. Okay, another placeholder, and from that item get me this active id. Perfect. And after that, after writing all these things, do dictionary closing. Okay, so file.write, now we don't need this. What we need is closing bracket. Okay, closing bracket and backslash n, and this is this is it, this it is this is it. Okay, okay, now let's run the script. Let's remove this file and run it. I'm going to run it. We must get this file, new file, underlying list.py, and it should contain all those assist id and name, right? Okay, so here new file is created. Let's close this one. Okay, Okay, so it is storing the underlying list but not in expected format. And this, I think the problem is I did not give comma to separate. Okay, this is different dictionary item. This may be the reason. I'll run it again. Okay, no need to delete this one because it will be overwritten. Okay, now we are getting comma, but here you can see these things are not separated. So what is another thing that I did wrong is here. This should be start on a new line. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, now the dictionary is created with currency assist name and assist ID. Right. What thing I wanna do is uh, 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 I want to store this, in this way, not this way. So I'm going to give one more backslash n here, not m. This needs to be n, new line. Don't close it. This time I should get it in the format that I'm expecting it to be, this up down, not this left right. Okay, perfect. Perfect. You see underlying list, name, id, name, id. So later on what we are going to do is we are going to use the text and we are going to write function so that whatever currency pair or assist name we give, our function will read this file and try to find their id dynamically rather than doing manually. Okay, all right, so that's all in this video. See you in the next video.